Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 4:27 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market say we are in uptrend. Take a look at trend gauge here. Market leaders neutral with that red sub arrow. A lot of weakness in the AI ecosystem. I'm talking memory, semiconductors, fiber optics, Neoclouds, all those different kind of subsectors of the overall power plays too of the overall AI ecosystem. Very weak. And today was a rough day for many of those names across the board. And yeah, seeing that leadership narrow, but on the bright side, we're seeing the rotation. RSPs at the highs. We have airlines, we have regional banks, we have biotech, we have healthcare. A lot of those sectors are currently leading short term. Qs below the 21 EMA, S&P closing above, and then medium term, we remain above the 50 and 200-day moving average. Let's take a look at these final numbers because there's a lot going on. Turbo or 21 over 21 list got hammered today, down 4.6, 19 red. Turbo 12, same thing there, down almost 7%, 8 red, 4 green. Mag 7 down over a percent, RG8 down 1.94, and our Revere AI 100 down 5.72%. And since we've created this, we've been tracking the performance, and yeah, it's especially after today, it's lagging the S&P 500 significantly, and it's actually red since we started it. And again, this is a good gauge for us to track the AI trade. It's a broad list of many AI names from different subsectors, and it gives you a good read. And even without this list, we've known it's been extremely choppy in this sector specifically, and the numbers, the data confirms that. S&P was flat on the day, unchanged. RSP up 70 basis points. Q's getting hit the hardest, down 1.7. Equate down 0.78. Dow Jones Industrial Average, look at that chart. You won't know anything's going on. Up a percent into new highs. Mid caps down about a 0.5%. Same with Russ 2000. 60/40 flat. GROTECTION down 0.58%. TurboTection down 0.31%. Let's start with the S&P 500. And again, potentially this is forming kind of a new VCP base. Bounced right up to 8 and 21 EMA today. Kind of got down trend line. I'll draw that. You know, just very choppy. So maybe this kind of handles out a little bit more, but the averages still look good. Today was a tight day, so we're just gonna have to see what happens there. RSP, phenomenal action, new highs today, and again supports the rotation that we continue to see right now. Qs, let me remove these drawings. Q's a little bit weaker, a series of lower highs, but building higher lows off the 50-day moving average. Got to see which way this breaks. But if tech stays weak, expectation is the Q's are going to continue to struggle. Mag 7, super strong 4-day push off the lows. And, we've seen that before when these big names get too oversold, they typically tend to see a bounce, and that's kind of what we're seeing. Mag 7, a lot of those names have been strong. Apple had a hell of a day today. And even with that, the Q's almost closed down 2%. Microsoft was green, Amazon was green. So seeing some money flow back into the Mag 7. Dow Jones, like I said, look at this chart. Nothing's happening right now, new highs. Mid caps choppy, but you know, maybe looks like a bit of a wedge, but continues to ride the 21. Russ 2000, same thing here. Not a whole lot to say. Looks pretty constructive. ARC trying to break out of this base. VIX was red again today, despite the NASDAQ down 1.7, below 18, 16 handle. The dollar bounced right off the 21 EMA. Looks like it's forming a first continuation flag after a base breakout. Gold in no man's land. Same with gold stocks, silver, looking like a bear flag, but a bit oversold. And then Bitcoin, another area that has been dead for a long time, maybe starting to come back to life. Money coming out of some of these AI stocks, maybe they buy Bitcoin. Bonds, not too much to comment on for these. All right, let's take a look at the tape. It's Thursday. We got the new or start here. Percent stocks for the 5-day, 64 and 60. Thursday, new sentiment numbers, big drop off in the bulls. So that's good. Down 13 and a half to 31. And then bears ticked up to 42.3. And then NAM down as well to 84.69, down almost 14. So that's good to see. We had the NFP today, and let me see. Yeah, that came in at 57,000 versus 110,000 consensus, and then private payrolls came in at 49,000 versus 88,000 expected. Unemployment rate was 4.2 versus 4.3, and then initial claims were 215,000 versus 220,000. And then market is closed tomorrow for 4th of July holiday. Today's keys, S&P struggling at all-time highs, but holding 21. Q struggling at both, and then Russell 2000 holding the 21 going into next week. Going to be watching the S&P versus the 8 and 21, Qs versus 21 and 50, and then the Russell versus all-time high and the 21 EMA. 2 days consolidation. 4 days above the 8, 4 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, like I mentioned, still continue to see that rotation: Bitcoin, healthcare, gold, space, energy and software, and then weakness, meme, high beta, semiconductors, AI, tech all week on the day. GROTECTION sold Dell, Flex, Corning, trimmed UPro, bought Reddit, Intel, and then added on to LL 2 times the Lilly, 0.96 beta. Stock risk 0.64, total 4.75. Turbo bought BHYP and then sold MXL 1.36 beta, 3.02 stock, total 5.94%. Estimated balance at risk. Bottom line: Carnage in AI stocks, semiconductors, memory, optics, and Neoclouds. And we are going to look at those when we get into the charts here. All right, let's just take a look. Let's start semiconductors. Nasty day here, right? Um, you know, big volume, big break of the 21, really first harsh close below the 21 since the follow through. And it just got very choppy, and you had huge extensions in some of these names. You had a breakout, failed, looked like it was coming back in, and now back in. RS lines rolling over through the 21. Again, just not a pretty chart. And really, my expectation for this is you either need a bigger flush, or this is going to take some weeks to repair and to and for it to be actionable for a clean trend again. So that was semiconductors. Now let's take a look at some of the semiconductors. I'll look at my let's see. I mean, they were getting hammered across the boards. So let's take a look at Teradyne, right? One of the RS leaders was breaking out of a big base. Nope, slammed from, now back below the 50-day moving average. You have MXL. We had this in turbo, bought this coming through here, had a nice profit and sold it around break even today, down 17%. Very nasty action, very choppy. AHR was once one of the best semiconductors to own. Now look at this. This is essentially nearly got cut in half from 126 all the way down to $70. You have Nvidia, which has been a laggard for this whole for months now, looking like a bear flag here at the 200-day moving average. You have Avgo breaking back below the 200-day moving average. You have some of these semiconductor equipment names that were starting to get a little bit parabolic now, pulling back. Applied Materials. You got KLAC. Again, bit of a harsh break, 2-day down, breaking the 21 EMA. AMD, this one looks like it's potentially wedgy, might break the 21 EMA. Let's see. Yeah, that's really the gist of it. I mean, just weak. We'll take a look at SMH as well. Again, not the prettiest look. Oh, Marvell, big down 10%, breaking gap day lows. Dell as well, kind of close below that 21 EMA. So again, it's just gotten very choppy, not good action here in semiconductors. Next space, fiber optics, AAOI looks like it's starting to speed up here to the downside, breaking lower, really from a kind of a stage 4 topping formation. You have Lumentum, same thing here, looking like it's starting to break down. GLW, similar to Teradyne, like a relative strength leader, breaking out of a great base, right? Nope. 250 to sub 200. in 2 days. That's not what you want to see. And this is, not to say that these stocks top, but when they start to get crowded, everyone owns them, everybody knows the story. This is when you start to get that erratic price action that's wide and loose, that's volatile, that's just extremely, extremely challenging to trade. And that's what we've been seeing. Let's take a look at what was that? Oh, there we go. Drawing a blank. TSEM, another one, failed breakout here, now back below the 50-day moving average. So you can see outside of some of the rotation trades, there's been quite carnage in a lot of the leading groups. Let's take a look at probably the worst today. Memory, Micron down 6%. Yesterday was its first close below 21 EMA since the fall through day, falling through to the downside today. Let's take a look at SanDisk, down almost 15%, below the 21 EMA. Let's take a look at DRAM, the ETF. Again, from 80 to 60 in a matter of days. The trend looks broken for now. Western Digital, top before, back into the 50-day moving average. Seagate as well, very weak. And then let's take a look at Korea, right below the 50-day moving average. And this is a total casino, KORU, 3 times South Korea bull, has gone from nearly 1,300 to 541 off the highs. And just look how we'll just chart the underlying because it's more accurate. But look how choppy this has been. This was the easy money long, and then ever since it's just been a nightmare trade, very choppy, very erratic, tons of volatility, not what you want to be in. And now to the Neoclouds. WGMI looking like a potential huge failed breakout and getting smoked today, down 10% below the 50-day moving average. Is kind of all. The weakness really started off the meta news the other day. NBIS, extremely, extremely choppy, back to the 50-day moving average. CoreWeave looking like a falling knife below all key moving averages, down another 5% today. Iron firmly below the 200-day moving average. You can just see this chart has been an absolute choppy mess for a while now. You got Cypher, same thing here. I'll draw a line. Kind of triggering, like you can say it's kind of a double top short setup. Not now, but back then, but back into the base, big failure. So, and then these power names, Bloom Energy, just extremely choppy, had that nice catalyst yesterday, faded the whole move and took out that day's lows. GV looks okay. Actually looks really good. Consolidating under the space, but the market isn't giving you much confidence to buying some of these strength. All right, now where is this money going? It is going to biotech. New highs again today. Beautiful trend. We own LABU and TurboTection. Been a really nice position. GH is an individual name that's owning GROTECTION. Really nice action. Lily's another one flagging at the highs. Looks really good. XLV, more broad healthcare, breaking out of a huge base today. Very good action. XLP. Not really actionable, but I mean, it could be if you want, but more so just a gauge. But right, Staples up 2%. You can see people are a little scared. Mag 7 as well. Look at Apple today, up almost 5%. That's a big day for Apple. And definitely a safety trade. You have Microsoft kind of trying to round out off the bottom. You have Amazon that's looking pretty decent, getting tight here. See if they can kind of crack that down trend line. Um, and then you have, even Bitcoin, BH, this B hype is bought in turbo today, is hyper liquid. It's one of the best looking cryptos out there right now. This is the ETF, and you can see if this one works, but this is emerging out of a pretty nice triangle. And then you have, like I showed, RSP, new highs today. And let's look at software, IGV, you know, look, individual names show a better picture. Frog, new highs today in the software space, computer software enterprise. Datadog, we own this in Turbo. Very tight day, minimal volatility, good action up the right side. We also own CrowdStrike. They did a 4-for-1 split today. And after a big move up, got tight off the 21 and coming back into those highs. See if that can break out. PA&W is another cybersecurity name. Same with RBRK. Like these charts look great. And then Twilio, another one that we own in TurboTection as well, acting great. So you can see hacks, cybersecurity, ETF, and this is, the areas that you want to be. And then we'll take a look at meme, high beta ETF, getting hit pretty hard. Back below moving averages down another 8%. This is essentially just a proxy for AI stocks, holds a lot of these high flyers. It's easy chart to look at to give you a read there. I bring it up all the time. And then MTUM breaking here, momentum factor ETF, and the momentum factor ETF, not the ETF, but kind of a factor group. They had the worst 2-day decline since 2020. So definitely some really nasty action in the AI trade specifically, and we're seeing some of this money rotate elsewhere. IBM's a tech name that's looks okay, back by the 200-day moving average, but very volatile. And then Reddit's a good one, non-AI, coming out of this big stage one base. And you also have Robinhood as well, also has that crypto theme out of big stage one base through the 200-day moving average as well. So um, let's see any other. Intel's one of the other semiconductors that looks one of the better names. To me, chart looks still great, doing nothing wrong, just looks like it's building another new base. Really no harm in this one. Just, base building can be choppy. And then let's see. And that's really most of it. You just want to, it's been clear rotation out of AI, and we'll see when that changes. ITB, this one's another one. Home builders flagging here after getting back above the 200-day moving average, and then regional banks as well. Looking pretty constructive here as well at the highs. Let's take a look at broad financials coming out of the cup and handle base as well. So definitely areas in the market right now, but really the bottom line is anything related to memory, semiconductors, optics, Neocloud, generally the AI ecosystem has been extremely choppy. Um, Seasonality for momentum factors historically quite weak in July, although for the broad indexes it typically is good. So continue to see strength in some of these, the rotation areas, and just wait for more tightness in some of these AI and semiconductor charts. So that is going to wrap it. As always, I'd like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_. And if you are ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching, and have an awesome long weekend, and we'll see you next week.